The proper equipment for the body to take care of itself is getting back to watching and functioning from your primary system of experience, instead of functioning through your secondary system of experiences. Otherwise, you just have scrambled eggs. Everything is confusion. The body will see something on the television, read it in the newspaper, hear it on the radio, hear it from a neighbor, or hear it from people at work or whatever. As a result of all this, your body gets all upset and all excited about how terrible that situation is. It is a secondary experience unless it affects you in your present moment directly. If it is through your bodily experience, your direct family experiences, even your cats and dogs, which you're now giving pills and operations and everything else to, those are all primary experiences. They are within the context of your family group. Anything that is outside of that, if it is a neighbor, if it is a very good friend, you can sympathize, you can emphasize in words and really mean it, but then drop it. It does not directly affect you. That is what we're saying. You finally decide you're going to do something about your situation. How are you going to do that? You need to find something that will excite you so that you can change your focus from secondary experiences to primary experiences. By changing your focus, that will give your body the opportunity to heal itself. This is how healing takes place. You have heard many times how individuals have had operations which they call exploratory to find out why they aren't feeling good. They open them up and find that they've got cancer. They tell them, "You're only going to live probably another 6 months. There is nothing we can do because your body inside is so full of cancer that there is no place for us to begin an operation." They sew them up and here they have their news, "I have 6 months to live." What are you going to do? Are you going to change your focus? Are you going to intensify on that which you enjoy doing instead of that which you don't enjoy doing? You'll say, "I can't leave my job." All right, you can't leave your job. Have you ever thought about getting another job in something that you enjoy? Well, I can't possibly do that because I have to have this amount of money to maintain my lifestyle. So you stay in the same place and die in 6 months, okay? The other person says, "Okay, I've got 6 months to live. How am I going to live it? I don't have to die if I don't want to. I am not going to die. I'm going to fight this the only way I know how." Here we go, we're in a fight again, which is the first thing you do. You start fighting something. Why don't you just sit back, relax, and analyze the situation? Emotions are decision makers. Make a decision. I'll get myself out of this stressful job that I'm in and rearrange my priorities and get a new life entirely. Do you have that determination to do that? That's how healing takes place. It's making a decision as to what you're going to do today. It's not, "Well, I'll think about it next week." Or, "I'll think about it tomorrow." No. Make the decisions at the time that decisions are to be made. Focus on the decision-making process. People that have been cut open and were told, "There is nothing we can do with you, you have 6 months to live." Then everybody accepts the news, except the person that is told that information. Everybody pussyfoots around and, "Oh, she's only got 6 months to live." Or, "Oh, he's only got 6 months to live." The individual says, "By golly, if I've got only 6 months to live, I'm going to do it the way I want to." A decision is made. 10 years later you walk down the street and here you see this person coming toward you and you say, "That person looks very familiar." You get closer and they call you by name and you look at them and say, "My goodness, is that you?" Well, of course it's me. But they told me that you only had 6 months to live. Then the person laughs and says, "That was 10 years ago." It's your decision. You have to discriminate and make daily decisions. That's what emotions are all about. How do you suppose you get a headache? It's an emotional response to something. Either something that is mental or something that is physical. How are you going to handle it? If it's something that is physical or mental, then handle it today, don't wait until tomorrow. Or, it's somebody else's fault. It isn't. It is your body and how you decide to live in it, with it, through it, and enjoy it to the best of your ability. It is totally up to you. That doesn't mean that you're going to go through life without a headache or without an upset stomach or without maybe even an operation. It is how you handle these bits and pieces of information and the reality of the situation. It is what's going to make the difference in how you live your life. Why do I remember the bad things? That which you call bad things carry a strong emotion. That emotion is recorded in the brain, and over periods of time the emotions recorded that are of less intensity fade into the background. Then when a situation comes up that is similar to a previous situation that you call bad, the brain brings up the most intense previous experience. In being an observer, you pay attention to your emotions. You can be walking, driving, whatever, and be in a state of complete relaxation, then something that you see grabs your attention. Emotions are the attention getter. If you didn't have an emotional response to something, you would not observe it. Your inner psyche is drawing your attention to that particular focal point because it knows the play that you're playing in. An observer will look at what their attention has been drawn to and will respond accordingly. After you have observed that clue, it is up to you to make a decision as to how you are going to handle that clue that you have been given. All events are emotional events. First, you accept a possibility or probability. Second, you create that possibility or probability in your reality. Third, you respond to that possibility or probability by action or reaction. There, we come back to the play again. It is not only people that you interact with, like you do in a play on a stage. In a play on a stage, someone gives you a cue. They will say a sentence, and that will be your cue to say your next part or play out your next part. This is the same in your physical everyday life. Your cue does not always have to be from an individual. It can be something that you see in a store window. It can be a billboard sign. It can be a piece of music. It can be a stone on the street that you trip over. All of these kind of things are your potential cues. You only pay attention to your cues through how you emotionally respond to your cue. You'll say, a stone that I tripped over in the street? It can be as simple as that. Your emotional response to tripping caused you to avert your attention from what you thought you were doing, walking down the street, to the stone that you tripped over. Maybe it has significance and maybe it doesn't have significance, but your attention was drawn to the tripping action of the stone. What's important is the tripping action. As an example, maybe if you hadn't tripped over that stone, you wouldn't have been caught from falling by someone that you hadn't seen in many years. The same thing with driving down the street and seeing a license plate of a car in front of you. You've been driving for a long time. You've had all kinds of license plates that have passed in front of you and have moved on. You have changed lanes and you see other license plates. You don't drive down the street watching license plates. Someone will pull in front of you or you will change lanes and the license plate in front of you will grab your attention. Why? What is it on that license plate that grabs your attention? As an observer, you'll think about it. You'll look at the numbers. You'll see whichever state it is from. What is it that causes you to look at that particular license plate? You might see the numbers 1, 2, 3. What does that 1, 2, 3 mean? 1, 2, 3 could show you that everything is going just fine. Your emotional response is that that is good and the body relaxes. If you were to find 654, then that's going backwards and it catches your attention. 654, that's backwards. What am I thinking about or what am I doing that was a backward motion in my thinking? Is it where I'm going? Is it what I'm thinking about at the present time? It will grab your attention. Maybe you had heard something on your radio in your car that was what you call of a negative connotation. You see a 654, do I want to get emotionally involved in that type of negativity that's coming over this radio? I'm just sitting here and absorbing all of that? 654, change your radio station. It can be as simple as that. You need to watch the signs and signals that your body is giving you so that you can proceed with your play and pick up your cues along the way. You will find that through very simple things, it will become more interesting in your everyday life. You're playing your own play because you're continually giving yourself signals. The body is responding emotionally to those signals in one way or another, and your play becomes more interesting. We have had many questions recently concerning the 9/11 incident and most recently the incident regarding the space shuttle. These are events. These are plays that were taking place. It is not your individual play. This is what we are trying to say. Just because you see an accident on the road, are you involved with that accident? No. Then, is that accident of any concern to you? It might mean, pay more attention to what you're doing, pay better attention to your driving. It does not involve you in any specific way. As to the World Trade Center incident, were you as an individual involved in that? If you were, that is one play. If you weren't and were just observing that incident on television, then that has no particular relevance to you, except that you can see the things that are happening as far as mass consciousness patterns are concerned. You're just seeing other plays. The same thing with the space shuttle. Were you individually involved in that? If not, you are just observing other plays that are being acted out in your mass consciousness patterns. You see things on your television from other parts of your globe. Are you going to get emotionally involved and upset and all tied in knots because of something that is happening on the other side of the world? You can start moaning and groaning and crying and becoming all upset. Then do you realize what you're doing to your physical construct? You're taking all of these things and dwelling on them and upsetting your whole physical construct. When you begin dwelling on these, your physical construct actually becomes rigid. Your body is not free flowing. Your body needs to flow freely. There are some interesting things that you will see through your television. For example, a building that has been abandoned or has been taken over by another group of people, whatever. There were always cats that lived in that building. The cats get shoved out. The cats have no place to go. This man who takes a walk every day past that building goes by and sees all these cats huddled together meowing. They're hungry, they're not used to going out foraging for food. The man turns around, he goes back home and he gets some food and he brings it to the cats and cats are happy and they stay there. The next day, he comes by with food and feeds the cats. This he has been doing for many, many years. He's getting to what he calls the end of his lifetime, but he is still able to walk and feed the cats. He's concerned, after I die, who is going to take care of my cats? It is a simple thing. The man is content because his life has taken on new dimensions and a new joy in feeding and taking care of the cats and playing with them and talking with them once a day. The cats are getting their enjoyment by the interaction of a loving human being. The man had an emotional response to the situation and took action. He could have ignored the cats and repressed that emotion, but was never comfortable with that kind of decision. There are occasions where your emotions are so strong that they temporarily set aside your beliefs in the body's limitation, allowing the body to then utilize its full unlimited resources to resolve a situation. Such as, a little old lady sees her son pinned under a truck that has fallen off its jack. She rushes over to the truck and lifts the truck off her son and pulls him to safety. This was an emotional response of immediate action. In order for the body to be able to properly deal with the situation removing the truck from her son, it was necessary for the emotions to, shall we say, temporarily sweep aside her prevailing beliefs of limitation of the body. The beliefs that the body could not do such a thing would have otherwise prevented the body from performing the intended action. Your body depends on you to give it a clear assessment of conditions that you are living in at the present time. It depends on this feedback. If you're in a comfortable room in no present danger, your senses should accurately convey that information. It should be easy enough for you to look around and see that you are not in any danger. If you become overwhelmed by unsafe signals from secondary experiences, you show a lack of discrimination. You are not able to decide what is safe and what you call unsafe, and you're sending the wrong signals to your body. You get to the point where your body can no longer tell whether you are in actual danger or imagined danger. You become fearful of everything. Your brain then focuses your body in a state of constant alert. You are no longer paying attention to primary or direct feedback, and you begin to rely on your secondary experiences. This results in a feeling of powerlessness to act and leads to hopelessness and despair. This begins to blur your everyday responses. Your reality must be what you perceive in the framework of your present moment and what you create in that framework as it is experienced. When you get to the point that you have primarily secondary experience feedback to your physical body, it begins to build up a tension that becomes dis-ease of the body. The body can't rest because you are in either actual danger or imagined danger all the time. Your body doesn't know what to do. How am I going to handle all of this? In your watching of secondary experiences, do not accept the image that man will destroy himself at some future point. You might also remember that none of the prophesied destruction that you are so afraid of is not happening today. That is not your tomorrow unless you want to project those secondary experiences into your reality. That type of information continually being broadcast does not allow humanity to move forward with the intended energy needed to make the changes desired by the species toward their exciting and grand evolution. There are those who make careers of condemning the faults and failings of others, even the species itself. Humanity is in the process of becoming. In becoming, there are always those which you call a genius in the making. In that making, humanity has what they call failures. It is these failures that then cause humanity to continue in the direction of making things better and better and better. What are often called failures are clues for changing direction or changing the process. A failure is a short-term word for a long-term venture. Only when you operate from your own knowingness can you clearly see your own plays. To anticipate danger, or to imaginatively take on the troubles of others robs you of the very energy you need for your body's health. It is more productive to organize your thoughts in areas of accomplishment than to concentrate on man's deficiencies and lacks. You form your own reality. That reality contributes to the experience of others, but each of you possesses a unique, original focus in space and time. This is yours alone. It is sort of like the sign on the side of the road. It's there for all to see for the purposes of the person that put up the sign. It is also there for all to see for the purposes of the emotions within the body to strike a chord that says, clue. Each clue for each individual observing the words on that sign will be a totally different play for a totally different reason. The beauty of nature surrounds you everywhere. It represents your direct experience. It offers comfort, creativity, and inspiration that you only impede if you allow secondary experience to overshadow your daily encounters with the planet Earth. You must trust your emotional clues, otherwise you confuse your body, for the body cannot be in a situation of safety and danger at the same time. It wastes its energy fighting imaginary battles. You are just tilting at windmills. Emotions are the trigger for your five senses. It is emotion that triggers them. In other words, you are walking along and your attention is on something. What is the first thing that focuses? It's your eyes. Your eyes receive the information, the symbols. That is taken into the bodily construct and sorted out from that point with the help of your awareness and your belief system. Then, at that point, a decision is made. When we tell you that love, passion, happiness, and joy, etc., are emotional responses of the body, we are not in any way implying that these expressions are any lesser because they are emotional. These responses are vital to the fulfillment of the you in the body in your quest for evolutionary expansion of the you in the physical. These expressions of physicality are some of the desired values of physical expression you wish to experience. They are vital to the healthy expression of your biology and your life experience. It is just that humanity in general has placed such low esteem on anything that is said to be emotional, that when we say that love, for example, is an emotional response, in your terms that diminishes love's value in your understanding. As has been said, yesterday is past, the future isn't here yet, today is the present. We in Datre say, why not give yourself the greatest present of all and gift wrap it?